I didn't wear the badge to make a point. That's important, because everyone assumed I did. It was still around my neck. Because I'd driven straight through from base. 12 hours with bad coffee and worse radio. And when I arrived my hands were full, duffel bag, wrapped box sliding under one arm. The old reflex of not setting government property down anywhere careless. By the time I noticed it was visible, I was already in the doorway. Already being looked at. Christmas smells like heat and sugar and old arguments. My mother hugged me too tightly. The way she does when she's worried I might disappear again. Someone clapped me on the back. Someone else said, "Wow." In a tone that meant this should be interesting. My brother noticed last. He always does. He likes the reveal. We grew up in the same house but learned different lessons. I learned that if you waited, people showed you who they were. He learned that if you filled the space fast enough, no one questioned you. Dinner was halfway served when he stood, glass raised, grin already rehearsed. "Well," he said loudly, eyes on me. "I guess we should address the federal officer in the room." A few laughs, a few looks. I felt the badge resting my chest, cool through the fabric. "I mean," he continued, warming up, "impersonating a federal officer is a serious crime." That got more laughter. He pointed. "You're under arrest." The room tipped toward him. Attention like certainty. I didn't respond. Not because I was stunned, but because I've spent years being trained not to correct civilians in rooms that aren't mine. Not every misunderstanding is yours to fix. Sometimes fixing it makes things worse. He took my silence as confirmation. "Come on," he said, stepping closer, mock authoritative. "Where'd you get that?" "Costume shop, online. You know stolen valor is a thing, right?" My mother said my name quietly. Not to defend me, just to slow things down. It didn't work. Someone pulled out a phone. Someone else said, "Is this real?" Like they were hoping it wasn't. I looked around the table. Faces I'd known my whole life. Suddenly strangers in the way they leaned forward, curious, entertained. No one asked me directly. No one said, "Hey, explain." I felt the old, familiar ache, not anger, exactly. More like disappointment settling into its usual place. I said nothing. My brother laughed again. "We should call it in," he said. "See how this goes." That was the moment things shifted. Not dramatically. Just enough, because my phone was already vibrating in my pocket. I stepped away from the table, not hurried, not defensive. Just a small deliberate movement. The kind that doesn't ask permission. "Excuse me," I said. The call wasn't about Christmas, it never is. The voice on the other end used my rank without hesitation, asked for confirmation, for location. I answered in the tone I use at work, flat, precise, unperformative. When I hung up and came back, the room felt different. Quieter, like a joke that had gone one beat too long. My brother tilted his head. "Everything okay, officer?" I met his eyes for the first time that night. Not challenging, just steady. "Yes," I said. And then I sat back down. 10 minutes passed. Plates cooled. Conversation tried to restart and failed. No one laughed anymore. The air tightened around anticipation, though no one could have said why. When the doorbell rang, everyone jumped. The authority that entered wasn't cinematic. No shouting, no weapons drawn, just uniforms, posture, certainty. Names were exchanged. Identification requested. I stood when asked. I didn't gesture to the badge. I didn't need to. Verification takes time, but not much. The moment control shifted was quiet. Almost boring. A nod. A confirmation. A subtle change in how the room oriented itself around me. My brother's face drained slowly, like a screen dimming. Not fear, something worse. Realization. "Oh," he said. No one laughed. The officers were professional, brief, apologetic in the way people are when they realize they've been invited into someone else's mess. They left as cleanly as they'd arrived. Silence stayed. "I didn't know," my brother said finally. It wasn't an apology. It was a statement of fact, like that made it neutral. "I know," I said. That was all. I didn't explain my job. I didn't recount deployments. I didn't educate the table on what the badge meant or how I earned it. I had learned long ago that explanations offered too late feel like pleading. My mother cried quietly in the kitchen. Someone refilled my water without asking. Someone else avoided my eyes entirely. Dinner resumed, technically. I ate a few bites, then stood, slicked the badge back where it belonged out of sight. Not to hide it. Just to put it away. "I'm heading out," I said. No one argued. At the door my brother cleared his throat. "I was just joking," he said. Softer now. Smaller. "I know," I said again. And this time it meant something different. Outside the air was cold and clean. I sat in my car for a moment before starting it. Letting the quiet settle. Being seen clearly doesn't fix a family. It doesn't rewrite years of being underestimated or misunderstood. But it does something subtler. It teaches you that you don't have to raise your voice to be real. That night I drove away without celebration. Without revenge, without closure. Just dignity, intact.